Good afternoon, everyone. It is with deep gratitude and immense joy I welcome Sister Shivani on behalf of Lodha Group. Sister Shivani needs no introduction. She's one of the leading inspirational, motivational speakers India's ever seen. What is unique about Sister Shivani is that her talks resonate across generations. From my father to my own daughter, everyone is so inspired by your talk, Sister.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Om Shanti. I know, sister, you always emphasize on the content we watch, the information we consume, and that we should not get moved by the situations we're in. But we're all now, beginning to lose loved ones. How does one remain positive while grieving?
Most important is first to see how to remain positive in the normal day-to-day situations. You see, grieving is you can say, the toughest exam of our life, right? So it's the most difficult situation that can come in someone's life. So we don't first think about how we're going to cross the most difficult situation. First, look at all the simple situations, which means situations which are not even related to COVID, because COVID is also a difficult situation. So the practice has to happen in the most simpler situations of the day, where we keep reacting to situations. You see, we're not responding to situations, we react, which means our state of mind is dependent on situations and people's behavior. This is what we believe. So if the situation is perfect, we are happy. If the situation is not, we believe it's normal to get irritated or angry or hurt or upset. So when we start living our life in that way, where we are reacting to situations, and then comes COVID, and we say fear and anxiety is normal. So then we create fear and anxiety as normal. COVID is a situation to take care how to protect ourselves, but to remain calm and stable. Because if we remain calm and stable, then we will radiate positivity, we will radiate healing energy to our body, we will empower people, energize the home. All this will happen with a calm and stable mind. It will keep our emotional and physical immunity strong. Then comes a situation, if me or someone around me gets this COVID virus, then how I remain calm and stable. And why should I remain calm and stable? Because a calm, stable mind is the first step towards healing. Even in any other disease, the doctor would always tell us, don't get stressed, relax, your body will heal faster, which means there is a mind and body connection. So even if someone's got the virus, the panic and fear is not the solution. It will only slow down the healing. It will slow down the healing. But if you keep your mind and body at a higher vibration, it will enhance the quality of healing. Then comes a situation, which we can't call a situation, but if it is comes that if someone very close to us leaves the body and moves forward. Now, this is a scene in our life where we believe that getting hurt, getting upset, crying, feeling low is normal. The vacuum in our life where we are going to miss someone who has left is permanent. It's forever. So that vacuum will never get filled. But how I'm going to face this situation right now? Is it going to be with strength, with power, with the coping skills, so that I take charge of the rest of my family? And most important, to radiate peace and power to the soul who has moved forward. Let's remember that death is not an end. It's about a soul leaving a body and taking another body. So when the soul leaves from one body, it's shifting to its new body and its new family, which means it enters the womb of the mother. So over here, the body is getting cremated, but over there, a new body starts getting created in the womb of the mother. And so 9 months of pregnancy of every woman is a very different experience. For some, it is a very simple, matlab pata hi nahi chala, when those 9 months passed, it was so easy. And for some, it's a little difficult. There's more to manage also in terms of the emotions of the soul who has entered. So the family who's left behind, they only need to remember one thing. Yes, it will take a little time. The vacuum will never get filled. We know that. It will take a little time to even be able to live in the same house without them being around and taking care of us. It will take time. But the only thing we can take care of is not think about them with pain, but to think about them with love. Just this much. बस इतना सा करना है. Let's not create thoughts like, how will I live without you? How could you go away? I'm sorry I was not able to do anything for you. It's my fault. I got the COVID first. Because of me, you got it. That means I am guilty for what has happened. All these thoughts are not the right thoughts, neither for us, neither for the family here, and neither for the soul who's moved forward. Because these thoughts reach that soul and makes that journey of the soul very difficult. We pray for them. We say, let's radiate peace to them. But we are not radiating peace. We are radiating a lot of pain to them. Our every thought reaches them. Our every vibration reaches them. So let's, every time, which is going to be almost the whole day, we are thinking about them. But let the thought be, I did my best for you. Whatever I could do, whatever I could arrange, money, roles, positions, whatever I could contact, I could do everything. I tried my best for you. I did not leave any stone unturned for you. Yes, we were not there in the hospital with you, but in our minds, we were only with you. So, it's very important, the message, because for the soul on the new journey, this message is going to become the beginning of their personality over there. And then the rest, most important thought is, I will take care of the rest of the family. You don't worry about them. You have to start your new journey very beautifully. I will take care of all of them. You are always there with us, but you have to move forward. So instead of pulling the soul back with our thoughts, come back, I cannot live without you, we have to let them move forward gently. That is also our responsibility. It may sound a little difficult, but it's not difficult. It's our responsibility. And we're always ready to do everything that we can do for family and friends. So just the right thinking at this time, which comes when we meditate and we pray, we are able to do it.
Thank you so much for that. Sister, since it's Mother's Day, firstly, happy Mother's Day to everyone watching this. I feel like every mother tries to give the best. I'm a mother of 3, and every mother tries to give the best that she can according to her circumstances. And she plays the role of being the axis of the family, taking care of the emotional, spiritual, physical needs of the family. But when mothers themselves, like, all of us are going through a spectrum of emotions right now, and they're so overwhelming, how do we raise emotionally independent children?
We cannot raise emotionally independent children without being that ourselves. So there's no two way about that. You can raise physically strong children without being physically strong yourself. That is possible, which means you can give the best diet, the best exercises, the best facility to your child, and create a discipline in your life, child's life routine, so that they can create a body which is very physically fit, even though your body might not be fit. But when it comes to emotions, our emotions radiate to our children. Our emotions radiate to everyone, but a child absorbs the mother's emotions like a sponge. And this happens right from the time when the child was in the womb of the mother. So the emotions of the mother are absorbed by the child sabse pehle in those 9 months. That's why it's called Garab Sanskar. So which means sanskar of the child, the seed is first laid down in those 9 months. So from there onwards, that connection, that bonding is such that vibrations, the state of mind of the mother is absorbed completely by the child. Now, even if in front of your child, you are smiling, you are pretending that everything is fine, your body language may also seem perfect as if everything is normal, but your aura, your energy field, that is radiating to your child. One is the child will sense it, and second is even if they don't sense it, they are absorbing it. They are in your energy field. So if you are turbulent inside, disturbed, they are going to consume that disturbed energy. Now it's up to them how much they are dependent on you. Not every child will be the same. So if you have 3 children, not all 3 will respond the same manner. So because every soul has their own sanskar. So one child can be totally dependent on you, and which means if you fluctuate, child gets affected. Second child is very strong, and if you fluctuate, they become your anchor. They become the one who can empower you. They can be very strong. So every child is going to be different, but every mother's vibrations influence the child. You cannot stop that from happening. There's no way that you can block it, that my vibrations will not reach the child. That doesn't happen.
Sister, you also always talk about Sankalp Se Siddhi, and it's, I think, one of my favorite, one of the favorite episodes that I saw of you, talking about that, and, how we manifest, whatever we think, or we manifest it into reality. And I must tell everyone watching this, I actually manifested this talk, it was on my bathroom. My kids were almost laughing about it, like, what are you doing? But honestly, I really, really believe in it, and I would really like you to tell me about this.
It's a spiritual equation which we need to know, that thoughts manifest, sankalp se siddhi, which means any thought, any word repeatedly used. If I just create one fleeting thought, it will not manifest. But if I take one thought and I repeat it many, many times, it will become my reality. This is a spiritual law, like the law of gravity. It's a law of gravity. We can't say, why is it like this? How is it like this? Gravity works that way. Similarly, manifestation works that way. It works that way. So if I use any line, even as simple as I'm stressed, some people say that very often. I'm stressed. I'm so stressed. The other person says I'm depressed. Now, for a negative emotion, we are repeatedly saying I am. And then, repeating a word which is not a very comfortable emotion. If I say it once or twice, I'm stressed, it's okay, it's come and it goes. But if that becomes my repeated pattern of thinking, if I say repeatedly, I'm busy, I'm short of time, I'm busy, I'm short of time, now that starts becoming my reality, because that's a vibration that I'm radiating to situations. So making a reality of your choice, we just need to take care that we create the right affirmations. Like we say it with our children. You cannot do this, you will not be able to do this, ये आपके बस की बात नहीं है, the other child can do it but you cannot do it. These are also affirmations. Now this affirmation may be based on a current reality, that right now your child is not being able to do something, which is fine, but you have two options. Either to keep rubbing it in, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, you cannot do this. They might never be able to do it, might. Second is, you keep on affirming, I am certain you're doing this extremely well. Success is certain for you. You will be able to do it. You are going to be able to do it. And this is going to happen. And if you use that belief system and your thoughts, and you use that repeatedly, you will start seeing a change in your child. So power of affirmation plus power of visualization has been used by the world since, because everybody knows this equation, but we mostly use it in the outer world, which means we use it to manifest something in the outer world, whether it's by a doctor during a surgery. Doctors can visualize their entire surgery in the morning, which they're going to do during the day. It could be an actor, it could be a sports person. They visualize their game. They visualize how they are going to be on the ground. So everyone uses power of affirmation and visualization for creating in our outer world. Spirituality teaches us to use it to create what we want in our inner world, which means if I want to change my any sanskar, if I want to change my lifestyle habits, if I want to change anything about my personality, I have to put it in my affirmation. Simple is, suppose if I have a sanskar of somehow managing to be late every time. Some people are able to manage, they're able to manage to be late every time, even though they work hard on it. It's because it's fine, doesn't matter. They are carrying a sanskar of being late. They must have carried this from a past lifetime, or must have got it from a parent. So they are carrying the sanskar of being late. But now, if they keep saying every time, I'm always late, I'm always late, I try very hard, I just cannot reach on time, I even put my watch 15 minutes ahead, but I still get late. So now this becomes that repeated affirmation. Now only they don't say it, people around them also start saying it. ये तो हमेशा ही लेट आते हैं, इनका तो कुछ भी कर लो, ये तो हमेशा ही लेट आते हैं. So this kind of blessings we start getting from people. We will always be late, we'll manage to do it. Change it to, I'm always before time. I'm always before time, not even on time. I'm always before time. Put that as your thought process, your belief system. Even if you're always late, just keep thinking and saying this. You are changing the programming here, and very soon you are going to start seeing that manifesting. It will start becoming your reality. It has to work, and it always works.
Thank you so much for that. Sister, one more thing, everyone right now, obviously, we're all going through our levels of, I don't know, stress or helplessness. And, we're offering wondering why are we getting tested? Why is God testing us? And then I read one of your articles where you've written that obviously God is not doing it. If he was to do it, he would just keep every human free of misery because we're all his children. So do you think it is our own karma of this life or the past life that all of us are dealing with what we're dealing with, or is it collective karma? What exactly are we going through?
This is a collective karma, no? Because it's a collective global karma. One is a personal karma, one is a family karma, one is an organizational karma, one is city, one is country, and one is global. So COVID is a global karma consequence. So there's no thinking about it, why this has happened. And we cannot put the blame on the supreme power and say, ye Bhagwan ki wajah se hua hai. God does not give us pain, disease, misery, or untimely death. That's not going to happen. God, in fact, does not write our destiny. That we need to know. If God had to write our destinies, it would be identical. Everybody would be perfect and get the best in everything. It couldn't be more for one and less for another one. You're a mother of 3 children. Suppose you got the power today to write the destiny of all the 3 children. Would you write a little more or a little less for anyone? You can't. You just can't. And would you write any disease or failure or hurt in anyone's life? You just can't. You won't. Okay, forget writing it in your child's destiny. Suppose you had to write the destiny of somebody else. Would you write over there in their destiny pain or disease or death? You won't. A human being also will not write these things in anyone's destiny. Why will God write it in our destiny? So we need to understand God doesn't write our destiny. Our destiny works according to law of karma. That as is our karma, so is our consequence. Everything that we have today is a result of some very good karma. Without karma, why would we have it? We have it because we've done something very good. Somewhere, sometimes we have made certain mistakes. Even today, if we had to just check today's whole day, we must have made some mistake today during the day. Every mistake is also a karma. Every good deed is also a karma. Consequence of both are going to come. Both are going to come. And COVID is a result of a global karma. Global karma. So the way we have been with nature, the way we have used resources and lifestyles. So we just need to take care of that. Now we need to take care that we do the right karma now. Think right, feel right, behave right, protect ourselves, take care, don't be careless. This is also karma. When we are careless, that is also karma. That's also karma. So let's take care. We cannot go into why this happened. We won't have the answer. But what to do now, we have the answer. We know what we have to do now. And each one of us, if we do what we have to do now, we're going to be out of it very soon. But if we are still careless, or if we are, creating fear and panic, then we are just delaying the solution. Nothing else. Otherwise, we can come out of it faster.
And absolutely, I think this global crisis has also seen so many new things, right? It's so many of us coming together. No one's ever seen this kind of humanity before. People are coming together. We've created a vaccine, in record time. There's so many positive things that have happened out of COVID. I mean, I know, children living at home, it's not been very easy, but it's been difficult for all of us. But I think all of us are trying to be positive and do whatever we can, which is, possible. And so that actually goes to imply that human beings inherently are good, because we're all trying to be really good in these times, which are like the most interesting times. But I think, is it circumstances, or what really happens to human beings then?
We all have so many innate qualities and powers, and look, when a situation comes, we're able to use our powers. Even as simple as what you said, children living at home for almost a year now, not having gone to school or college. Not a very easy situation, right? But yet they are managing beautifully because they all have so much power. So a situation always emerges the hidden powers in us. We have a lot of powers. It's just that we need to use these powers, the power to adjust, the power to adapt, most important, the power to care. the power to care for others, the power to serve others, the power to be compassionate. We have all these powers. We are using these powers in today's crisis, but we need to use these qualities and powers always. But sometimes when everything is okay, we shift from that caring, compassionate nature to be there for people, to serve. We shift to, again, only what I can get for myself in my life. So it's just that's the lesson we need to learn from COVID, to shift to this way of living where we are a giver, where we are there for people, not only living for ourselves and only not for acquiring, but for being a giver in life is very important. And COVID has also taught us to prioritize emotional and physical health. Prioritize health. We can't live a life where we say, I don't have time. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to exercise. ऐसा नहीं होगा. We have to prioritize the health of the mind and the health of the body. Work is a part of our life. Work cannot be life. We think work is life and everything else will revolve around work. No, we have to have a very healthy lifestyle in terms of our sleeping habits, our eating habits, our living habits, our working habits, everything. And then automatically, obviously, our thinking habits also. This all needs to be streamlined. So if that's taken care of, then we are going to be emotionally strong and independent in every situation of our life.
Thank you for that, sister. Since I really believe in your affirmations, I will really request with us and then post that end with your meditation.
Affirmations for the current time, which means we create a few thoughts which we want reality to be right now, and then we repeat them many times in the day. Some very, very important time when we need to repeat the affirmation is, the first thing is the first thought in the morning. So the first thought in the morning and the last thought before we go to sleep is very important, because both these times the subconscious mind is opened. So the seed is going to go deep inside what we think. So first thought in the morning and last thought in the night has to be the affirmations. So simple affirmations for the present time. I am a powerful being. Powerful means emotionally independent, not reacting, not getting affected and disturbed by small situations and people's behavior. So I'm a powerful being. I'm always calm and stable. Always calm and stable. Third, I am fearless. So if anyone is experiencing the slightest trace of fear, put your affirmation, I'm fearless and confident. Very, very important. Fourth, I am a giver. This is a very important affirmation. I am a giver. I'm not going to live my life like this. I'm going to live my life like this. Giver in terms of love, respect, understanding, trust. Not always saying, I want love, people should trust me, people should respect me. This is always like this. I want appreciation, no one appreciated me. I want nothing. I want nothing. I'm going to give to people. I'm a giver. So that's one affirmation. Then an affirmation for our body. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. So that this removes the thought, what if this happens to me? So we have to change our way of thinking. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. Then create a divine circle of protection around you. That God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. Visualize white circle energy like this, an aura protecting you. And draw the same circle for your family also. So instead of creating a thought of worry, what if this happens to me? What if it happens to them? What if it happens to my child? What if it happens to my spouse? They have to go to work. Somebody's spouse could be a doctor. What if it happens? What if it happens to them? What if it comes home? We need to remember, if it does, we'll be well taken care of. It's easy to heal that. But thinking that way repeatedly is not good for us. That is depleting emotional energy. That is creating a panic energy in the house. And that's also affecting the other members of the family. Healing COVID is not difficult, but healing the mind needs to be taken care of. So we create a thought. God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around the family. They are safe, they are secure. And then create the same circle around the country and around the planet. If we all visualize this every day, we're going to be able to radiate healing energy to the planet. So create these affirmations first thing in the morning, last thing before you go to sleep, and each time before you have your meals. Because food absorbs vibrations, and that's why we were taught to pray before we eat. So just before you eat, pause for 5 seconds, give your gratitude to God, connect, pray, and say your affirmations. And say your affirmations even into your every glass of water, because water absorbs energy. Right now, the water of the city also has fear and anxiety. There's so much panic in the cities. So water also needs to be energized. It needs to be cleansed. The vibration of the water needs to be cleansed. So say your affirmation even to the water. So if I say it first thing in the morning and in the night and every meal and every glass of water, I would have said it about at least 10 times in a day. And if I say the same affirmation at least 10 times in a day, every single day, within 10-15 days, I'm going to see the result. It's not going to take more than that. And I'm going to see a result that my mind becoming more calmer, more stable. I have faith. I'm not panicking. I'm not reacting. It's manifestation, that whatever I think, I will be able to manifest. So we can write our own affirmations, anything you want to create for your work, for your family, for your relationships. Only the vocabulary is very important. You have to create a thought, it already has happened. It's already happened. So even if somebody has COVID and is in isolation right now, their affirmation has to be, my body is perfect and healthy. So reality is disease, but affirmation is health. So that affirmation will create healing energy. So every thought we create, we have to create that, what we want to see in our destiny. It may not be the reality right now, but the thought has to be, it already is, and it will start happening. So that's how we use the power of affirmations and visualization.
So can we end with your meditation, please?
Sure, we can use these affirmations for our meditation today. Just sit back and just visualize yourself here in the center of the forehead, a tiny point of light. That's the energy. Spiritually, we call it Atma, the soul, the consciousness, the light. Just visualize a tiny point of light where we put the bindi or the tilak. We have to visualize there. Here. And as you see that tiny spark of light, we will start creating our pure, powerful thoughts, and we will visualize them. I am a powerful being. In every scene, with every person, powerful, calm and stable, powerful in every situation, with every person and their every behavior. I'm powerful, calm and stable. I am fearless. I have faith. I take care. I protect. I'm fearless. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. Visualize perfect healthy body. God's power and blessings is a circle of protection around me. Now draw this circle, white light aura around you. Circle of protection around me. I am safe and secure. And draw this circle of protection around the family. Each one is perfect and healthy, protected and secure. And then around the planet. See the globe and draw God's power and blessings, divine light circle around the planet. Each mind is strong. Each body is healthy. Each one is safe and secure. Beautiful world. Everything is perfect. And visualize that. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank
This
you
is
so much.
so good, and I'm so grateful once again for thank you so much, sister.
Thank you so much, Om Shanti. Thank you.